Hello, so that's another off-season war. I thought we the new season would have already started, but apparently the game had other plans. Anyway, so here I'm taking Kingpin, Warlock, and Black Widow Clairvoyant for this 1BG war. Um, I decided in this war to take Path 1 in Section 1. It's a path I don't have much experience with, and the first fight will reveal this a bit. So it's a path where you have like lots of regen, I would say. I think you have Buffet in the first one, Masochism in the second one, and as I mentioned in my previous video, I don't have much experience with tier 5 maps, so I didn't know that, for instance, in the first fight, when the champ regens, he becomes unblockable. So combine this with Buffet, it's not not maybe it wasn't Buffet, maybe it's like the other one, Arc Overload, I think. So in the first fight you will see it's I'm taking Kingpin against Symbiote Supreme, and at the very beginning Symbiote regens, and this makes him unblockable. And what I did was to try to parry the very first hit, and got hit in the face, and I didn't understand what was going on. So, but basically, I I was learning like in the middle of the fight that the thing was unblockable. And well, anyway, so I could come back in the end. You will see. It's good that I learned about the node. It's I feel just a bit stupid that I should have read it. I should have read it a bit more deeply. The second fight is CGR. I'm taking Black Widow Clairvoyant. Nothing special. Last fight is the mini boss of Section 1. You will see the third fight. I make a mistake in the end in the sense that because I'm impatient, I try to finish Venom off. I take him to SP2 and then I take a lot of block damage from SP2. I should have been more patient, but anyway, the biggest mistake is in the first fight, as you will see. So now I have a mini boss, the Tigra champ that you see on the bottom right of the screen. So a good thing is that I again remembered I had to check my expiring items, and indeed I had like some items expiring like in 2 days or something like that. So I said, yeah, we're not using them. I think it has a node that gives some power gain. So I thought, yeah, we'll go with the invulnerability boost because, well, you never know with Tigra. Sometimes you get a heavy attack or like an SP2 that is not easy to dodge sometimes in the face. And given the power boost, it can also be an SP3. So I thought, yeah, you know what? These items will go away even if it's off season. Let's go for invulnerability. And so I went for it. The bad news is that I tried to, at the very beginning of the fight, to parry the very first hit, and I don't know. I don't know why it didn't work. So the boost just goes away at the very beginning of the fight, which is a bit not great, but anyway. And then the fight, basically, I use Black Widow Clairvoyant, Poison Stance. The idea is to power control Tigra. I prefer to bait SP1 over SP2, and even given the power gain, I thought Poison Stance would be a good idea. And you will see, so the fight, I mean, it went okay in the sense that I didn't die, but in the middle of the fight, I couldn't bait her SP. She wasn't throwing it. So at some point, I could like take her below SP3 thanks to an SP2 that could uh, power control her, let's say. But anyway, she wasn't throwing her SP, and at some point, like I took an SP3. Good news is that I survived, but I mean, I went out of the fight with not so much health. So that's it. A fight against Tigra. Then I'm taking path 3 in section 2. I will go first for the first mini boss on the left. It's a Havoc, and I'm taking Warlock against him. So I die in the fight. The reason is because, you know, after, so if you block a hit, you get a stack, and after 10 stacks, the opponent just goes unblockable. And basically, I wasn't paying attention to how many stacks I had. At some point, he goes unblockable, and basically, I die, you know. It's a bit pity because typically with Warlock, I'm quite. I mean, he does well against Havoc. Because of the node, I remember that it's not easy to get power, you know. So I went with a power boost to get to SP2 quickly. Unfortunately, I didn't get enough power, and I couldn't get to SP2. Probably I should have gone for an invulnerability boost again. This would have maybe saved me, and I wouldn't have died, who knows. Maybe I suggested one of our officers, the great Noise from Below, that's his name. He's told me that maybe I shouldn't block so often. It's true that maybe. So I like blocking with Warlock because, you know, it allows you to put like what's the name of the debuff you put on the opponent, you know, the disease stacks, whatever. So when you block, you can put lots of stacks if you parry. Especially I think if you parry a projectile attack, it gives you even more stacks. But anyway, maybe I should have gone for four hit combo and intercept. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, so that's a fight against Warlock where I sadly die. So now it's two fights from path 3 in section 2. The first fight is against Hulkbuster. I'm taking Black Widow Clairvoyant. It has this node where each time you make contact with the opponent with some probability, I think you can get a bleed node, so that's why I go with her in bleed stance. Just heal a bit to recover from the previous fight at the beginning, and the fight goes quite well. Then I have Warlock with explosive personality, so you don't have to hit block if I remember well, you know, this node. I go there, I fight him with Kingpin. There I make a mistake at the very beginning. I take a heavy attack in the face. That's why I finish the fight then with little health. But apart from that, the fight goes well in spite of, let's say, all the degen damage that Warlock brings. And so now that's the last fight. So it's a fight, you know, I went in just to try, you know, because honestly, I didn't think I would survive it, and in the end, I don't. Um, it's not only that it was very late at night. Uh, I'm not proud of how I'm playing this fight, basically. But so I, you know, when I'm tired, basically, I don't play well. I couldn't resist the temptation to hit block a couple of times, I would say. I couldn't even dex an SP1 at the beginning, which is weird because it's, I mean, Mole Man SP1, I typically have no problem. But yeah, you know, so when it's late at night. But anyway, so I wanted to see how I could do. It has like a super buffet node. It has this thing that doesn't allow you to gain power. So basically, you cannot SP, which is bad for Black Widow. And also, you have the same node as the one for Hulkbuster at the beginning. So if I want to go poison, you know, because with poison with Black Widow, you can reduce regen, which could counter the buffet. But on the other hand, you would get bleed, and the bleed damage I think is quite high. So basically, you cannot go poison. So anyway, that I wanted to try. I'm posting the video anyway, just to show you how bad I went. But well, I know more or less. I learned things, let's say. So that was the last video of that off-season war.